Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide.
Before we start, we have prayers, motivation, and Christian work. We have our Director of Enterprise Risk Management, Reforms, Modernization, and IT to lead with prayers. Director, can you use that mic?
From here?
Yes.
Good morning. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وسلم صلاة تنجينا بها من جميع الحاجات وتهدينا بها من جميع السيئات وترفعنا من الدرجات وتبلغنا بها أقصى الخيرات من جميع الخيرات في الحياة وبعد الممات آمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أحب الفاتح لما سبق الناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره العظيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله. God bless you. Amen.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Director. We'll have Kanji Nandi to lead us in this prayer.
We start our prayers in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, we hand over to you, to your care, all who are gathered here today. We ask you to bless us and put all our hearts together. Today is a unique day. This period is a unique period. We have holy season of Lent and holy month of Ramadan combining at the same time. We pray that the blessings of these two very important months or seasons will be realized in the Gambia. We pray that all these political citizens and economic hardships shall be overcome, and together all hearts and minds and hands shall be on deck to work for the betterment of this country. Starting today, with the launch of this Taxpayers Charter, we pray that there is an understanding between the business community and the revenue collector, or the government in general, so that the Gambia will move forward. These and others we ask through the mighty name of Jesus our Lord. Amen. Amen. In the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much, Pastor Andrew. Honorable Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs. thank you for coming. Distinguished invited guests, our esteemed taxpayers, the people who give us the money that the government deserves, the money that we collect on a monthly basis. We also thank you for honoring our invitation. And the purpose of our gathering here is to launch our taxpayer startup. I will not bug you with what it entails, because we have that in our program. But to give you just a snapshot of what the charter does, this contains the rights and obligations of taxpayers and also of the authority. What are our rights and obligations that we should observe in our dealings with you as taxpayers, and also in your dealings with the authority as tax collectors. We'll have the first activity of the program, that is a synopsis of the charter by the Director of Technical Service, under whose department we have the compliance and tax education, under which section we have the starter being administered. Mr. Yaman, Director of Technical Service, you have the floor.
Good morning. Thank you, MC, for the introduction. Before I take you through the taxpayer charter, let me use the opportunity to recognize the presence of the Honorable Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, the Commissioner General, and Deputy Commissioner General, the Governor of Central Bank of the Gambia, our chairperson of the GRA board, and the deputy chairperson of the GRA board. All the heads of government parastatals here present, senior government officials, and our esteemed taxpayers. Good morning to you all. My role this morning is but a simple one. Is to take you through our taxpayer charter. It's a very brief document, but also it contains a lot of information. Let me make this statement that this charter is not a replacement of the revenue laws. So it has to be used in consultation with the revenue laws. So what we did is to do a summary of the rights and obligations of our taxpayers under the various revenue laws. The rights of the taxpayer basically are what you can consider the roles and responsibilities of GRA, and their obligations is their responsibilities under the revenue laws. Now, if you look at the document, you have table of content there. I think you can see it on the screen. You have an introduction, the vision statement, which is the same with our corporate plan, has a vision statement of GRA from 2020 to 2024. There is also a mission statement, the core values that we have specified in the corporate plan. These are the values we expect our staffs to live to, so that it can help us to achieve our objectives in the plan. And about the taxpayer charter, just a brief explanation of what the taxpayer charter is about. And if you look at the document, it's segmented into what we call the taxpayer obligations. Under the taxpayer obligations, there are different subheadings there. You have a heading for registration. I will go into detail. You have timely filing of tax returns, timely payment of taxes and duties, provide accurate information and documents on time as an obligation on taxpayers, proper records keeping, issuance of receipts and tax invoices by the taxpayers, and cooperation with tax officers. Under the heading of taxpayer rights, we have the following subheadings: objection of tax assessments, respect confidentiality of taxpayers. These are the responsibilities in a way of the GRA, the authority. Respect privacy of taxpayers, access to information, respect taxpayers, treat taxpayers as honest, treat taxpayers fairly. Also, we are expected to be professional and also do it with our services with integrity. Recognize and accept taxpayers' representatives, be them the brokers or tax agents, and also as a right of the taxpayer, GRA is required to ensure low cost of compliance. Basically, that's the table of content of the document. And I will go proper. I will make emphasis in the obligations part. As you know, this is just a reminder. GRA in the corporate plan has a vision to be a leading revenue administration recognized for excellence in revenue mobilization and service delivery. Our vision statement for the 5 years, 2020 to 2024, is to optimize revenue collection for the government by promoting compliance with the revenue laws and leveraging on ICT. Our core values for this 5-year period is integrity. We have made a commitment to uphold the high standards of trust and honesty in the service of the authority. We have also made to demonstrate competency and efficiency and focus on achieving excellence during this plan period. Our staffs are expected to demonstrate these values of professionalism. In the area of fairness and impartiality, our staffs are committed to applying the law consistently, responsibly, and administering our mandate reasonably. Under the heading of commitment, this commitment has a value of on all our staffs to nurture staff commitment and dedication to service. And the last core value is teamwork. We encourage the principle of team spirit and camaraderie. So these are the basically the core values of the authority for the plan period 2020 to 2024. About the taxpayer charter. This is GRA recognized the importance of establishing a mutual relationship with our esteemed taxpayers and other key stakeholders in the process of mobilizing revenue to support government's development agenda. So the charter is expected to is a document that demonstrates the commitment of GRA to deliver quality services to taxpayers and other stakeholders towards the implementation of its mandate. The charter explains the obligations and rights of taxpayer in summary. Now, in terms of the taxpayer obligations, the first one is registration. For any person or business engaged in business, any person or who is eligible to register for tax purposes is required to register in accordance with the revenue laws. The registration for tax purposes include one, to register for TIN, which is the taxpayer identification number. This service is provided by GRA and it is at no cost to taxpayers. Business registration, if you want to be involved in business, you are required to register your business. And this service is available under the single window business registration under the Ministry of Justice, and this service is available in Banjul and also in Kanifi. After registering your business, you are also required to register for a tax type you are going to be administering. And this service should be done with the GRA office, particularly where you are located. For example, if you are an employer and the only tax you will be required to pay, that means you have to register for PAYE. That is pay as you earn. If you are going to be registered for VAT, you also need to register VAT so that you will be required to file and make payments regarding VAT. So this applies for all the taxes you are going to be administering. If you are a business that is going to be making supplies to government, you are also required to register with the Gambia Public Procurement Authority before you can be able to provide these services. The next obligation is timely filing of tax returns. We expect every taxpayer to file their tax returns within the period prescribed in the revenue laws. A taxpayer who files a tax return or makes a custom declaration or lodges a refund claim has an obligation to ensure that the return, refund claim or custom declaration is completed and duly signed. When we say completed, it means that you also have to provide all the required documentation in support of your claim or in support of your declaration. You are also required to make timely payment of taxes and duties once the returns are filed. As a taxpayer, you have an obligation to pay the full amount of the taxes or duties on time, to avoid payment of penalties and interest as prescribed in the revenue laws. Payments can be made in any GRA office or designated partner banks or through the real-time gross settlement facility, which is available in all the commercial banks, where you can make direct payment to the revenue accounts of GRA. The fourth obligation on the side of the taxpayers is to provide accurate information and documents on time. Taxpayers are obliged to furnish accurate and complete information or documents to the authority for tax purposes. Taxpayers having difficulty in complying with these obligations are encouraged to discuss their circumstances with the authority or their registered agents for assistance. The fifth obligation is proper records keeping. Taxpayers under the revenue laws are obliged to keep and maintain accurate records of business transactions in accordance with the revenue laws. These records will allow GRA to verify the accuracy of their returns or the information they provide to the authority. It is important to note that under the revenue laws, taxpayers are required to keep these records for a minimum of 6 years. The sixth obligation is issuance of receipts and tax invoices. Under the revenue laws, the issuance of receipts and invoice is a requirement for every business transaction by all service providers. They serve as means of verification to enhance transparency and accountability. This is very simple. We are saying that every taxpayer, if you provide a service, you have to provide receipts, accompanying receipts. You don't have to wait for taxpayers to request for their receipt or invoices. It's an obligation on you to provide these receipts or invoices. The seventh obligation on taxpayers is cooperation with tax officers. The tax officers under the revenue laws are representatives of the Commissioner General. Taxpayers, therefore, are encouraged to cooperate with staff of the authority in the conduct of their duties. Cooperative behavior on the part of taxpayers allows the revenue authority to run the taxation system at a relatively low cost and minimizes the unnecessary intrusion into taxpayer affairs and those of third parties. Therefore, taxpayers are also urged to provide reasonable assistance to staff when requested. So this is very important for taxpayers to cooperate with our staffs when they are at their premises doing their work. We move to the other topic, which is the taxpayer rights. By the way, the rights of the taxpayers are in a way the responsibilities of the GRA as the revenue collector of government. Objection of tax assessment. Under the tax law, taxpayers have the right to object an assessment or any other taxation decision made by the Commissioner General in accordance with the Income and Value Added Tax Act 2012. Objection to a tax decision can be made within 30 days through the objections and appeals process. So this is a provision in the laws that on taxpayers you have a right to object to tax assessments that have been raised by the authority. So this is your right under the laws. Respect confidentiality of taxpayers. Taxpayers under the law also have the right to confidentiality to their private and business information provided to the authority to the extent as provided in the revenue laws. Under the laws, GRA is required to keep confidentiality of taxpayer information. Respect privacy of taxpayers. The authority is required under the revenue laws to follow due process of law and will be no more intrusive than necessary in any inquiry, examination, or enforcement action. So this is also a right under the revenue laws. The fourth right under the law is access to information. Taxpayers under the revenue laws in the conduct of their tax affairs shall be provided with relevant information to help them understand what is required of them and the processes involved. Such information will clearly explain, among others, the tax types and rates, duties, exemptions, allowances, reliefs, tax credits as provided in the revenue laws. Your access to information of that will ease your obligation is a mandate on GRA. That is why GRA over the years have developed many brochures, information brochures on the different tax types we are administering. And these documents are available in our tax offices, but also they are on our website for easy download for any taxpayer who needed this information. Respect taxpayers. Under the law, the authority have a right, have a responsibility to treat taxpayers with courtesy and consideration. We have an obligation also to listen to taxpayer concerns. We also have an obligation to answer taxpayers' questions in a way they can understand. We also have an obligation to try to understand taxpayer circumstances. These are obligations, but they are rights of the taxpayers under the law. That's why this comes under respect for taxpayers. The sixth right of taxpayers under the revenue law is to treat taxpayers as honest. The authority has a responsibility to presume taxpayers as honest until proven otherwise, to assume taxpayers' declarations as complete and accurate until unless proven otherwise, to assume taxpayers present or issue authentic invoices unless proven otherwise. Assume that taxpayers pay the right taxes and duties, and also assume that taxpayers only claim for their right entitlements. These are obligations of the authority, but they are also the rights of the taxpayers under the revenue laws. Seventh right of the taxpayer is treating taxpayers fairly. The authority under the revenue laws is expected to provide fair and impartial appeal and review mechanisms for taxpayers, act within the mandate of the law, assist taxpayers to understand their rights as provided in the revenue laws. These are rights of the taxpayers, but obligations on the authority. These eight rights of taxpayer is professionalism and integrity. The taxpayers have the right to be treated by the authority with the highest standards of trust, honesty, competency, and efficiency. The ninth right of the taxpayer is to recognize and accept taxpayer representatives. The authority will respect taxpayers' right to choose their own authorized representatives. Like I stated, the taxpayers have a right to choose a representative. This could be customs clearing and forward agents or brokers, or in the case of taxes, a tax agent. So you have a right to appoint a representative that will represent you in your tax affairs with the authority. The 10th and the final right of the taxpayers under the laws is the low cost of compliance, which means that the authority will take into account the cost of compliance with when administering revenue laws. This is why, if you follow in GRA over the years, we have been trying to automate our systems. We are providing, we are using the banks. All that is all meant to ease cost of compliance on the taxpayers. And we are not stopping that. We are going further by introducing even more IT systems to make your experience with the authority easier and faster. So that's the end of the summary. It's not a big document. It's very summarized, but it also has a lot of information. But I'll have to repeat that this is not a replacement of the revenue laws. You still have to make references to the revenue laws. This is basically to make it simple for taxpayers in terms of spotting out your rights and obligations under the various revenue laws that the authority is administering. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Director. That was a detailed description of what we have contained in the Taxpayer Charter. But I'll just pick on a few. One among those is objection to tax assessments and decisions. It's your right, whenever a decision or an assessment is issued to you and you are not in satisfaction with that decision or assessment, you have the right to object. And objection sits under the unit that I am. So I'll be happy to receive your objections, and I promise you that the decision that is going to be taken will be fair and just. We'll collect the right taxes, nothing more, nothing less. We'll have a member of the floor, the taxpayer, to give us some remarks, share his opinion about the charter. Mr. Gani Sindo from Silent Emadi. Organizers, can you get him a mic, please? So that we can thank you.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Respected Honorable Minister, Commissioner General of Tax, Deputy Commissioner General of Tax, all taxpayers here, and the colleagues. My name is Ganesh Shinde. I'm representing Shaibani Media and Sons Limited. I would like to say few things. I would like to thank and appreciate GRA for launching this Taxpayers Charter. It's an important initiative by GRA so that taxpayers will have access to information about taxes and the return filings very easily. They will have all the informations about taxes, return filings, their obligations, their duties concerned to GRA. When they are collecting the revenues, they are helping us to develop the economy, develop the country. So we have to follow our all duties and our obligations very honestly and loyally. Again, I say thank you, GRA, and I can congratulate GRA for this very good achievement. Thank you again. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Dennis. If we have time, we'll send the mic around so that we hear your opinions, but unfortunately, we have to quickly do this and get back to our offices. And also, we need to go and make money so that we can pay more taxes. Next, we'll have the Deputy Commissioner General and Head of the Domestic Taxes Department, Mr. Sajao, to make a statement.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sar, our able master of ceremony. Let me begin by recognizing the presence of the Honorable Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, the GRA board chairperson, and other board members here represented. Also recognize former board members who are also in our midst this morning. I want to recognize the presence of the Governor of the Central Bank of the Republic of the Gambia. I also want to recognize the Managing Director, my own able Commissioner General, Gambia Revenue Authority, Mr. Yanko Wadawo, the Managing Director, Gambia Ports Authority, other senior government officials here present, also the Gambia Revenue Authority top and senior management members here present, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished invitees. All protocols duly and respectfully observed. We are gathered here this morning to witness the ground launching of a document called the GRA Taxpayers Charter, as alluded to earlier by our Director of Technical Services. This document to be launched shortly by the Honorable Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs is part of the reform initiatives contained in our current GRA Strategic Plan 2020 to 2024, aimed at improving the delivery of quality taxpayer services by GRA on the one hand, and the promotion of voluntary tax compliance by the taxpayers on the other hand. The importance of this document, typifying a professional contract between the GRA and its clientele of persons mainly engaged in taxable transactions, international trade and other service delivery arrangements with GRA cannot be overemphasized in a modern 21st century tax administration. This assertion is further supported by the fact that the launching of this document is part of the current structural benchmarks agreed with the International Monetary Fund. To add icing on the cake, we as GRA cannot be what our vision of to be a leading revenue administration, recognized for excellence in revenue mobilization and service delivery without a taxpayer charter making a clear and precise expression of this intention in no uncertain terms. The same argument goes for our current corporate mission statement, which reads, to optimize revenue collection for the government by promoting compliance with the revenue laws and leveraging on ICT. The implementation of the GRA Taxpayer Charter will no doubt boost mutual trust and confidence between GRA and its taxpaying public, which will undoubtedly increase voluntary tax compliance, expand the tax base, and guarantee a continuous year-on-year revenue growth, which is a necessary condition to ensure a meaningful socio-economic growth and development for the Gambia, our homeland. To put this professional relationship in context, GRAs have agreed to provide some basic facilities and services to the taxpayers, including those engaged in international trade, and in return for such taxpayers to reciprocate by submitting themselves to the full compliance with the revenue laws enforced by the GRA, which notably includes and not limited to the areas covered by Mr. Mane earlier. That is registration, voluntary filing of tax returns and making payments in a timely manner, voluntary submission of customs declarations and making all attendant payments in a timely manner and to the satisfaction of the Commissioner General. In anticipation of the duties and responsibilities that GRA will be obliged to provide, we have since started using our strategic plan to ensure that all conditions precedent are met without fail. Among these was to launch a time-release study targeting the Banjul seaport to establish some clear baselines for faster customs clearance of goods under customs custody. We are currently using these indicators in our operational plans. We have also launched some massive digitalization projects to digitalize both customs and tax operations. To do this, we are currently implementing two ICT projects called ITAS for the full automation of all tax processes with support to the tune of $13 million from the World Bank. On the custom side, we are also implementing the work-based Asikuda World project jointly funded by the African Development Bank and the government of the Gambia. We also have projects such as the SIGMAT, which will assist in providing a state-of-the-art platform for managing our transit, in addition to plans to launch a cargo tracking system for the safe passage of transit goods through the approved transit corridors. We have also been investing heavily on developing our human resource base, which also culminated in a number of HR reforms to enhance staff productivity and performance for a more professional workforce operating with private sector ethics and good corporate governance. About 80% of GRA payments are handled electronically, and we are about to pilot a mobile payment solution with EcoBank soon. These are just a few of the steps taken to embrace digitalization and to improve GRA's operational effectiveness and efficiency to serve our clientele base. We hope that this will provide a new paradigm shift in our revenue collection and bring to fruition a domestic revenue mobilization strategy for the country, which will be among the best on the continent. The GRA board management and staff have a strong belief and faith in these reforms as the answers for the country to be able to mobilize domestic revenues in optimal amounts and in a sustainable fashion to provide adequate funding for our country's development. We also believe that our taxpayers will extend a handshake so that collectively this monumental dream can be realized sooner than later. I cannot end my speech without thanking our development partners profoundly, notably the IMF, World Bank, African Development Bank, European Union, the People's Republic of China, WCO, the media fraternity, our host, the OIC, and the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs in particular, for the moral, financial, and technical support at all times. I thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Deputy Commissioner General and Head of the Domestic Taxes Department. And the DCG just mentioned some of the reform initiatives that the authority is implementing, including automation. But don't be scared. Automation is not coming with increased taxes. It's just coming with efficiency in the administration. We want to serve you better. Next on the program is the speech by our able Commissioner General, Mr. C.B.
Thank you very much, the MC. Let me first join the rest of the other speakers by recognizing the members of the High Table, starting from the Honorable Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, Mr. Mamboure Njie, the Governor of CBG, Boa Sedi, the permanent secretaries or their representatives that are here with us, my brother Jobate, Usman Jobate of GPA and other head of institutions that are present here with us, heads of the development partners or their representatives that are here with us, members of the diplomatic corps and consular corps that are here with us, our able chairperson by the name Madame Lucy Faijan, and his deputy, Mr. Umaru Sise, other board members also that are here with us, not forgetting the former board members that are here with us, including Madam Nafi Barry. GRA top and senior management here present with us. our distinguished invited taxpayers, our brother Bukar C of OIC, our distinguished invitees, our friends from the media, including our brother Peter Gomez of West Coast Radio, all protocols duly and respectfully observed. Good morning to you all. On behalf of the Board of Directors, Management and staff of the Gambia Revenue Authority, I wish to welcome our distinguished taxpayers and other relevant stakeholders to the launching of the Taxpayers Charter. The Taxpayers Charter is one of the important deliverables under the GRA Strategic Plan 2020 to 2024. The authority has indeed come a long way in its drive to offer best of service delivery to our taxpayers through our taxpayer education program. Since the inception of the authority, the Directorate of the Technical Services tirelessly embarked on sensitizing taxpayers on their rights and obligations as provided in the revenue laws administered by the authority. Taxation is the largest source of government revenue and therefore plays a key role in financing government programs including education, health, social protection, and infrastructure, to name but just a few. The mobilization of the revenue collection, therefore, is critical in the development of our country. As a tax administration, we are aware of the fact that we are operating in a challenging environment by asking people and businesses alike to part with their hard-earned money through the payment of taxes. This situation has been further worsened by the continued negative impact of COVID-19 and most recently the Ukraine-Russia war, all of which are contributing to the higher cost of both the business community, and the population consuming their product and services. At the level of GRA, we are doing our utmost to address many of these challenges that affected processes that will ensure that our taxpayers enjoy the best of services in comfort within the minimal cost. Indeed, over the years, GRA has demonstrated its ability to serve as a key pillar in supporting government development agenda through effective revenue mobilization. This achievement has been achieved through consistent focus on reforms aimed at modernizing revenue management processes, both legal and administrative. The launching of this Taxpayers Charter, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, will make GRA service more transparent and accountable to the public, whilst at the same time outline the roles and responsibilities of taxpayers. The Charter outlined 3 important benefits for taxpayers. Namely, first, this Charter explained the rights and obligations of a taxpayer as provided in the revenue laws with a view to promote the cordial relationship between GRA and its taxpayers. Second, the Charter further stipulates the fundamental service standards that will be implemented to achieve quality service delivery through adopting tax administration best practices, which will allow the partnership with taxpayers or stakeholders to grow and thereby improving tax administration. Thirdly, it is also expected to build a customer service culture that strengthens partnership between GRA, taxpayers, and other stakeholders for the benefit of either parties. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, the Honorable Minister and the distinguished inviters just that are here, I would like to seize this opportunity to sincerely thank and appreciate the government of the Gambia for their unflinching support to the GRA and for accounting for the revenue being collected through the implementation of the various development projects with direct budget funding. I will not conclude without also thanking and appreciating our development partners for their continued support to GRA, both technical and financial, over the years. The success of GRA today is also thanks to the generous support of these partners, both bilateral and multilateral. The IMF, World Bank, African Development Bank, WCO, ETAF, WATAF, ECOWAS, AU, French government through AFD, and People's Republic of China, among others. To our taxpayers, thank you for your compliance and for your contributions to national development. We assure you that GRA is committed to educate, sensitize, and engage you on our processes as well as on reforms that affect you for better revenue administration. It is our expectation that our valued taxpayers will also make maximum use of the charter and the services being offered by the authority. We assure you that our taxpayers education program will continue to sensitize for better understanding of the charter, and all inquiries will be attended promptly. We thank you all for attending the launching of the Taxpayers Charter. I wish you all best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fiji. And to our Honorable Minister, we will say we pledge our firm allegiance or promise within you. We promise that we will always continue to give you them.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Now we have our board chair. Madam Chair, I will apologize that you are the only lady. Please don't reduce my salary.
No.
Correct it next time. We have the board chair, Madam Fatou.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for coming for this very important milestone for GRA. Honorable Minister, thank you for coming. The Governor of Central Bank, Commissioner General, Deputy Commissioner General, Vice Chair of the GRA board and other board members who are here, GRA senior staff, government officials, media, and our development partners, ladies and gentlemen, and all protocol observed. Mine is just a quick I say maybe a message to GRA and also to the taxpayers. As the President said during our January Taxpayers Award ceremony, GRA, we are still working very hard on gender balance issues. We have a policy in place and it's gradually being implemented. It's not easy because they're all very young. So we are trying our best. Just a few messages. The first message is just that to say that paying taxes is very old. In history, if you read, you find that people have been paying taxes one way or the other. So it is something which has been in our societies, in our countries, in our kingdoms for years. So it's not new. And what GRA is trying to do with having this citizen charter in place is to make the tax system very friendly, very transparent and accountable. So you should see it that way. In Africa, most countries want to see this type of taxation system as new. And as a result, struggling to meet a very important ratio of tax over GDP. In Africa, it's 17%. In Latin America, it's about 22%. In the developed world, it's about 35 or more percent of GDP. In Gambia, we are trying our best, but because of the COVID pandemic, we are fluctuating between 15 and 13%. And it is within the range of in Africa. So it's a challenge because most of the economy is in the informality. And that is why we are saying registering your business is very important. Making it formal enables us to deal with you, to work with you, and make it easier and friendlier for you to pay taxes as your obligation. So see it that way. We are trying to make the system very easy and friendlier. Actually, I finished.
Yes, but
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I would like to, you can hear me? So to wrap up my message is to encourage the taxpayers not to be scared of the GRA, instead to take GRA as your partner in development, and therefore embrace this taxpayers charter as your guidance, as your roadmap to pay your taxes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. GRA is part of the security services, but it made us look like servicemen more. Knowing we are always on the watch, we are always on standby to make sure you are not caught away. Thank you very much for that. Now we have the Honorable Minister, Finance and Economic Affairs, to give the statement and also to formally launch the charter. Honorable Minister.
Can you hear me? It's gone again. Thank you very much. MC, Governor of the Central Bank of the Gambia, Permanent Secretaries, Heads of State-owned enterprises, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, Chairperson GRA Board of Directors, and other members of the board, including former Commissioner General GRA, Deputy Commissioner General and Head of Domestic Taxes, members of the GRA management and staff, distinguished invited taxpayers, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great honor and privilege to serve as the chief launcher on this very auspicious occasion. From the onset, I must commend the board, management, and staff of GRA for coming up with this brilliant initiative of developing and launching the Taxpayers Charter, which outlines the obligations and rights of our esteemed taxpayers. This initiative by GRA is indeed laudable and worthy of commendation. Aimed at enhancing efficiency and transparency in revenue mobilization system, the Charter defines the rights and obligations of taxpayers as defined by the amended Act of 2010, Income and VAT Act 2012, Customs and Excise Act 2010, and other revenue laws administered by the authority. The Charter also specifies the authority's commitment to providing services to the taxpayers and brings in transparency within the tax services. It promotes tax compliance and, by default, more revenue for government to use in the implementation of its development programs. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me that in any democratic society, taxpayers, citizens possess a number of basic rights as well as obligations in relation to their government and its agencies. We therefore cherish this opportunity to document these rights as we pursue our mandate of mobilizing revenue for the government of the Republic of the Gambia. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it could be recalled that this taxpayer charter we are launching today is also one of the benchmarks agreed with the International Monetary Fund under the Enhanced Credit Facility Program for the government of the Gambia for end June 2022. I must therefore congratulate GRA for accomplishing this task ahead of schedule. Maybe clap for that. This achievement by GRA assumes greater meaning when one reflects on the fact that the Gambia is a tax-based economy. A significant component of our development is funded by tax revenue, and therefore enlightening taxpayers on their rights and obligations is the right path to economic empowerment and sustainable development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I therefore take this opportunity to thank the Gambian taxpayers, especially the private sector, for your unflinching support towards domestic revenue mobilization. I also urge you to continue to be compliant with your tax obligations, as it is the civic duty of all patriotic citizens and residents. It is our fervent desire that you will thoroughly read this document to understand the rights and obligations outlined in this charter. This will not only enhance your understanding as you engage with the tax authority, but it will further build a relationship of mutual trust, fairness, confidence among all parties. As I conclude, I would like to take this opportunity to appreciate the contributions of the Gambia Fiscal Management Project jointly funded by the World Bank and Government of the Gambia for supporting GRA in accomplishing this great initiative. With this remark, I now officially launch the Taxpayer Charter. I thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I'm going to promise that we'll do our best to achieve the other benchmarks that we have over the years.
Including more revenue? CG?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Chair?
Promise.
More?
That's not a benchmark, but it's a
Thank you. Thank you.
Now we will just allow the members of the organizing committee to distribute the charter before we go on to the program.
No, we always.
Thank
pre-recorded for Ben International Conference. Remote. Fan la ñoo def ko ci biti.
Malik, the quicker you do that, Honorable Hassan, another meeting, please.
Can I have one?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Agada.
Mbijan aganyadi.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyenje.
Okay. What's Nsila ID soto.
Ah, sa soto. Sorry. Agada.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Ah,
mbare. Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Ah, jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Ha. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe ko.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Ha. Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kodo kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi topoto ni kodi maraw jannam number 1 di nyonta andum fana nata another enterprise sotale wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale le dadi ma ni domorol dil fana beteat Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je
wo moyo diat
apelenta
ni wo ka ni na lafta nyelen kendol e bina
yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba
yalo ndel ciosano lo
baraka.
We live in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Agada
Mbijan raganyadi
albaka
mbaka important
yo nga transfer la sto
ya transfer la
ha code nyinji
okay nsila ID soto
sa soto sorry agada
mbijan ro
albaka
mbaka
bara alla service o tariya
mbare
ki janna nun kunu bara tariya
jannom yona forest de bureau Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere birim koyna fo kato
bari si kodo kino kato nim fo bolong blabe
56 branches mola sota Gambia jam Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol nko kodo kiya bele kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw jannam number 1 di nyonta andum fana nata another enterprise sotale wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale le dadi ma ni domorol dil fana beteat Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je
wo moyo diat
apelenta
ni wo ka ni na lafta nyelen kendol e bina
yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba
yalo ndel ciosano lo
baraka.
We live in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle. IGH has remained committed to creating the future of healthcare delivery. Gone are the days of sending loved ones outside the country for basic medical services. Innovarex Global Health offers a new peace of mind and takes pride in delivering the quality of care we all deserve.